everyone. This is Andrew Taylor. I'm the host for the product training podcast today. And the product we're going to be going over, it's very simple, so this will be a very quick, short, and simple podcast, is Oxford Life's whole life product, which is called Assurant. This product is going to be used especially in competitive situations because the price is usually really competitive and you can beat other products by a few dollars sometimes if you're in a competitive situation. Now, I normally lead with Eagle Premier or Mutual of Omaha Living Promise, but if I'm in a really competitive situation, I will check Oxford Life's rates and see what they have to work with on this product. Now, the first thing is you can download the quote tool on the Apple Store or the Android Store or Android Market. So you can go on there, you can type in Oxford Life quotes, you can pull it up, and you can have that on your phone. And it's pretty cool because it asks you the height and weight up front. So the quote tool will actually tell you if the person doesn't qualify based on height and weight, opposed to getting blindsided later and the company coming back and going, hey, they didn't qualify because of their height and weight. So they check that up front. So and this product is for people between 50 and 85. And the whole life insurance goes up to $30,000. So you can help this is an easy product for a Facebook lead. It's an easy product for a senior that wants insurance. They're pretty lenient when it comes to underwriting. They have 17 health questions. Okay. And what a lot of new agents don't know, and I want to go over, is that all of these whole life products, if you want to know if someone qualifies, you just read the application, and it's going to tell you if the person is eligible just by reading the application. So you actually don't really, like a lot of people, they'll call when they're new, they'll call their upline in the home, or they'll call someone to get some help, but you can. It's kind of comforting to know that you can go over this application and you can easily be able to tell just by asking them the few health questions on the application if they qualify or not. And if you actually read it, it'll guide you through what they're eligible for. So let's say I meet with Mrs. Smith, and she's a sweet lady. She wants coverage for her grandkids and her burial. She wants to leave a little extra. We're going to go for the full $30,000, and we quote it out, and she likes the price. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to pull out the application, and I'm going to go to page 3 on the application. Now, you can do an e-app, but I always keep a paper application so I know if they're eligible or not right then and there by reading these questions. So at the very top, it says Part 1. If any question in Part 1 of Section G is answered yes, or if the proposed insured's height and weight are not within the allowable range, this application will be declined. So on the first 14 questions, if they answer yes to any one of those, they will not qualify. So some people go, well, what if the person, if the person answers no, how does the company know if they're lying or not? And I want to explain this to you guys so you guys can understand this as you're going through the process. They look at the trail of prescriptions that a person is on. So if someone says they haven't had a heart attack in the last 2 years, but they were just placed on a medication that is for people that just recently had a heart attack, then the company knows that one of the questions were not answered correctly, and they will decline the application. So it's important to go, hey, what are your medications? What and do a little bit of homework before you just pick a product for someone. And remember, whoever hired you in the industry, whoever your manager, your VP is, if you have any questions in the home, pick up the phone and ask for help. I always tell people, if you're in a home, text me, and I will be happy to get on the phone with you no matter what I'm doing. If you're in a home where you're getting ready to make money and also help a family, I have no problem talking to you. I don't like talking to you when you're not working and you just want to strategize. So please don't call me when you just have all these ideas and all these plans. Don't call me then. Call me when you're actually doing something that's going to make you money. All right, so I'm going to go through this real quick. The first question basically says, do you have a terminal illness? You guys can go through this and read it on your own, but do you have a terminal illness? Do you have any kidney or liver failure, or paralysis of 2 or more extremities? If you put no to that question, then keep going. The next one is, do you have, let's see, has a member of a medical profession diagnosed you with any immune deficiency syndrome? If you put no, keep on going. If you put yes, that is a decline. Do not proceed with the product. Are you currently hospitalized, confined to a bed, a nursing facility, using oxygen equipment to assist in breathing? Yes, no. If it's no, continue. If it's yes, then they do not qualify. Question number 5. Have you ever been diagnosed by a member of a medical profession with diabetes prior to the age of 30, or been treated for insulin shock, diabetic coma, retinopathy, or diabetic neuropathy? So if they answer yes to that question, so they can have diabetes, they can still qualify, they can be on insulin. But if they were diagnosed before age 30, then this product is not good for them. And if they have any type of problems with being, if they have neuropathy from diabetes or retinopathy from diabetes, or if they have insulin shock or were in a diabetic coma, they don't qualify. Now, just to give you guys a little tip from me being in the field, most people, if they're taking if they have diabetes and they're taking gabapentin, the insurance companies usually assume that is for neuropathy related to diabetes. So sometimes in very rare situations, they could be taking gabapentin for, let's say, they have nerve problems in their back. So you can tell the company if that's the case, if they're taking that medication and it's not related to their diabetes, you can proceed. But if it is related to their diabetes, then they will not qualify. Question number 6, have you been diagnosed or taken treatment for, and it lists a bunch of stuff, dementia, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, organic brain syndrome, Lou Gehrig's disease, Huntington's disease? If the answer is yes, do not proceed. If it's no, continue. Number 7, within the last 24 months, have you been confined more than twice to a hospital? So more than twice to a hospital. Nursing facility, convalescent care facility, assisted living facility, mental facility, or hospice care. More than twice, okay? So if they only went once, it's okay. You can continue. If they went 3 times, you cannot continue. If they went 2 times, the way the question reads, they can continue. You can continue asking questions. Now let's say it was 36 months ago, then it doesn't count. The question is within the last 24 months. And it's important to read these questions because sometimes agents will get confused because they didn't read the full question and they think the client doesn't qualify and they actually do qualify. Number 8, within the last 24 months, have you been treated for cancer, melanoma, leukemia, lymphoma, stroke, TIA, or have you had amputation caused by disease? Now, let's say they had any of these 36 months ago. You can continue. They can still potentially still qualify. But if it was in the last 24 months, then they can't. Have you ever been diagnosed or treated for, this is question number 9. Have you ever been diagnosed or treated by a member of the medical profession for one or more occurrence of any metastasis of any cancer in your lifetime, excluding basal cell or squamous cell skin cancer? Or are you currently being treated for cancer? So if someone has had the same cancer twice, then it's saying do not proceed. As long as it's not basal cell or squamous cell skin cancer. Now, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing all these medical terms right. Let's see here. It does make you sound really smart when you're asking these questions, though. Now, if you don't currently have cancer, you can continue. If you haven't had the same type of cancer twice in your lifetime, you can continue. If you have stopped, you do not qualify for this product. Number 10, within the last 24 months, have you been diagnosed or treated by a doctor, I'm summarizing this, for angina, chronic hepatitis, cystic fibrosis, pulmonary fibrosis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, respiratory failure, or required oxygen assistance to equipment to assist in breathing. Now, this one is tricky. So I'll give you guys some of my field experience. Now, angina is chest pain. And what I found is a lot of times if someone has chest pain, they go to the doctor prescribes them nitroglycerin. And it's a little tiny bottle that usually they can clip onto their keychain. It's also used if someone's having a heart attack. If someone thinks they're having a heart attack, they want to take nitroglycerin. Now, if someone's been prescribed nitroglycerin in the last 2 years, then most companies automatically assume that they have had angina. So that would be a yes to this question, and they would not qualify. And a lot of times people don't really know the term angina, so they say no. Then when you actually go through the whole thing, the company goes, you were prescribed nitroglycerin in the last 2 years, we're not going to approve you. So remember that medication that'll help you in the field. Let's see here. So number 10 has A, B, and C to it. So in the last 24 months, part A was the first question. Part B is been medically diagnosed as having or been treated for heart attack, heart disease, heart or circulatory surgery, including pacemaker, angioplasty, or stent, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, or any procedure to improve circulation to the heart or brain. So if someone can answers yes to that question, that means in the last 2 years they've had one of those things happen. Then do not proceed. If they answer no, then you move on to the next question. Question 10, part C. In the last 24 months, have you been medically diagnosed or treated for by, I'm going to summarize this, Hodgkin's disease, cirrhosis, liver disease, systemic lupus, neuromuscular disease, cerebral palsy, muscular sclerosis, or Parkinson's disease? If you answer yes to any one of those, then they do not qualify. It's over right then and there. If you answer no, then move on to the next question. And this is number 11. Within the last 10 years, have you been convicted of a felony, or are you currently on parole or probation? If it's yes, they don't qualify. If it's no, they do qualify. Or you can go on to the next question. Question number 12. Within the last 5 years, have you been treated for, advised to have treatment for, or excessively used alcohol, any drug abuse, or have you been convicted of operating a vehicle while impaired under the influence of alcohol, or any drugs, or had your driver's license suspended or revoked, or attempted suicide? If they answer yes, they do not qualify, do not continue. The next one. Now, this one's tricky because with Oxford, they're going to have you do a phone interview. So they actually ask the client all of these questions over the phone, okay? This one is, have you been declined or postponed for life or health insurance in the last 2 years? Now, usually the company can see if you've applied, if the person has applied for life insurance, and they will ask over the phone what the result was. If the result was a decline for any reason from any other company for any reason, then the person does not qualify. Now, I usually go with Eagle Premier because it doesn't ask a lot of these questions. Oxford asks more questions. It's a little bit harder to get approved, and it's a tiny bit of a price reduction. That's what you're giving up for making it harder to get approved. If they answer no to that question, then number 14, do you currently require human assistance or supervision with any specified activity such as eating, dressing, toileting, bathing, transferring from bed to chair, walking, or maintaining continence? If they answer yes, do not continue. They don't qualify. If they answer no, then you can move on to part 2, okay? Now, part 2 has 4 questions in it. And it says, these questions may cause the application to be declined, but not for sure. So question number 15, are you taking or have you been prescribed any medication by a member of a medical profession for any impairment in section G? So that's the first section. So that's kind of saying, you know, are you taking any medications that are related to any of those things? The answer should generally be no if all the questions were no. But they will ask the client on the phone. Number 16, within the past 12 months, have you used any nicotine products, including electronic cigarettes and nicotine-free electronic cigarettes or marijuana? If the answer is yes or no, then that can decide if they're going to qualify or get a smoker rating. Number 17, have you applied with life insurance with any other companies in the last 2 years? So this one is kind of getting them to, they asked if you've been declined. Now they're going to ask if you've applied. If you've applied, this is where they're going to ask you what the result was and decide, you know, if it's going to be a knockout if you have been declined from another company in the last 2 years. Number 18, what's your driver's license number? And then you're going to, from there, you are going to call the number on the application. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Give me 1 sec. And this number calls Oxford's home office. You're going to give them your agent number. I always try to do this in the home. I never want to leave any variables in the home that I cannot control, because that usually kills the deal. So while I'm there in the home, I try to make sure I get that phone interview done. For some reason, let's say Oxford's closed and I can't do that, I will set up another appointment to come over and get that phone interview done, because I don't like trying to get a hold of clients after I leave and chasing them. And that's usually when I lose all of the deals that I write. Now, you can call Oxford Life. You can do this over the phone. You can call 833-705-4019. If you do a paper application, they will still do a phone interview. Or you can call Oxford Life and do InstaWrite over the phone and get an approval. So with that being said, a lot of these final expense products are very, very, very similar. So it's kind of nice, because once you learn one, you kind of learned them all, because they all work on an accept reject basis, and they're all very, very, very similar. So good luck out there in the field. This is going to be a great tool to have in your bag with Facebook leads, EverQuote, senior mortgage leads, final expense leads. It's definitely good to have and can definitely save you some deals. So everyone have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.